Ethan Carter was not like other humans. He was an engineer, but also a dreamer. When the Galactic Union asked Earth to send a diplomat to the newly discovered planet Zerathia, Ethan did not expect to be chosen. But here he was, traveling through space, far from home, ready to meet the alien queen. Zerathia was a strange and beautiful world. Its skies were purple, and the air shimmered with tiny glowing particles. The cities were tall and made of crystal-like materials. People moved gracefully, their bodies slim and tall, with skin that changed color depending on their mood. Ethan felt nervous as his ship landed in the capital city. The streets were silent, but alive with soft light. He was wearing his best clothes, but he still felt like a simple man among the elegant Zerathians. They were known across the galaxy for their wisdom and strength. Their queen, Sarilith, ruled with a calm but firm hand. The humans had never met Sarilith before. Stories said she was smart, powerful, and very serious. She rarely smiled. Many in the Galactic Union were nervous about how she would react to Earth's presence. Ethan was led through the Grand Palace. The walls were smooth and white, decorated with floating orbs that changed colors slowly. The halls echoed with quiet music that made his heart beat slower. Finally, he stood outside the throne room. Inside, many other aliens were waiting. They were diplomats from different planets, each with a gift for the queen. Ethan looked at their presents: glowing crystals, ancient metals, machines that hummed with energy. All were expensive and rare. Ethan looked down at his own hands. He had no precious metals or crystals. He had thought hard about what to bring. He wanted to give something real, not just valuable. From his pocket, he took out a small device. It was an old Earth object, a mobile phone. It was not new or fancy, but it held something special: memories. The Queen's guards opened the doors, and the diplomats entered one by one. Ethan's turn would come soon. He tried to calm his nerves and think about what to say. The throne room was vast and high. Sarilith sat on a silver throne. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes deep violet. She wore a crown made of stars and light. Her face was calm but unreadable. Ethan stepped forward when called. He knelt before the Queen and bowed his head. "Your Majesty," he said softly, "I come from Earth. I bring a gift, not of gold or jewels, but of memory and heart." He held out the mobile phone carefully. The room fell quiet. The other diplomats watched with curiosity and some doubt. Ethan pressed a button. The screen lit up. Soft music began to play, a gentle piano melody. The Queen's eyes widened. She leaned forward slightly, listening. The music was old. It came from Earth's past. It told stories without words. Ethan hoped it would speak to her in a way no other gift could. On the phone, pictures appeared. Blue oceans, green forests, children laughing under the sun. The Queen's face showed surprise, then a flicker of something like wonder. The court was silent. No one spoke. The music and images filled the room like a soft wave. Ethan spoke again. "This is Earth, our home. These images show life, joy, and hope. Our music carries feelings we cannot always say in words." Sarilith looked at Ethan directly. "Why do you give me this?" "Because," Ethan said, "sometimes the greatest gift is understanding. I want you to see who we are, beyond what you hear or fear." The Queen's lips moved, but no words came. She seemed lost in thought. Then, slowly, she stood. The court held its breath. Sarilith walked closer to Ethan. "You have given me a new kind of gift, one I never expected." Ethan felt a mixture of relief and excitement. She turned to the court and said, "We will speak more after this meeting. This gift deserves time to be understood." The diplomats whispered among themselves. Some looked confused, others curious. Ethan was led away, but he knew something had changed. The Queen's silence was not cold now. It was the silence of someone touched deeply. Back in his room, Ethan held the phone and smiled. He had given the Queen a small part of his world. He hoped it was enough. Outside, the purple sky of Zarathia was calm. The stars shone bright. Somewhere far away on Earth, people waited and hoped too. The day after the meeting, the palace was alive with quiet whispers. The gift Ethan gave the Queen was not what anyone expected. No one could understand why the human did not bring gold or rare stones. Instead, he gave something simple and strange, a small device with music and pictures. Ethan woke early, thinking about what would happen next. He did not know what the Queen thought about his gift. Would she accept it? Would it change anything? In the grand halls of Zarathia, Queen Sarilith sat alone in her chamber. The room was filled with soft light, and the walls were smooth and cold. She held the small device carefully in her hands. The music from the night before still played softly in her mind. She looked at the pictures again. The blue seas, the green trees, the children smiling. It was so different from her world, where the sky was purple and the lands were made of stone and crystal. But there was something warm in those images, something she could not name. The Queen was a ruler who always kept her feelings hidden. But this gift touched a part of her that was usually closed. She felt a strange mix of curiosity and peace. Her advisors waited outside, unsure what to say. Some thought the gift was foolish. Others wondered if it was a clever trick by the humans. Sarilith called for Ethan to meet her again. She wanted to understand more. When Ethan arrived, he bowed deeply before the Queen. She smiled slightly. The first time anyone had seen her smile. "Ethan," she said, "your gift is unlike any I have received. Tell me more about your world." Ethan felt surprised, but honored. He began to speak carefully. "On Earth, we have many places like those in the pictures. Oceans that stretch far, forests full of life, and people who live, work, and celebrate together. Music is very important to us. It helps us share our feelings when words are not enough." Sarilith listened with interest. She asked many questions about Earth's people, their customs, and their emotions. Ethan answered with patience, telling stories of families, festivals, and simple joys. The Queen began to see humans not as strange aliens, but as beings with hopes and dreams like her own people. As the days passed, Ethan and Sarilith met often. They shared stories, music, and even laughter. The Queen learned to play some of the songs on a small device Ethan gave her. The music made her feel lighter, less burdened by the heavy duties of ruling. One afternoon, Sarilith invited Ethan to walk in the palace gardens. The gardens were different from Earth's forests. Strange plants with glowing flowers and soft light that changed color with the breeze. Ethan showed her pictures of Earth's gardens and parks. He told her how people found peace and happiness among the trees and flowers. Sarilith smiled again. "Your world is full of life and color. I had not known it before." Their friendship grew, but not everyone in Zarathia was happy. Some members of the royal council worried about the Queen's closeness to a human. "We must protect our traditions," one advisor warned. "We cannot let a human change the Queen's mind." Sarilith listened, but stood firm. Understanding. Another world is not weakness. It is strength. Ethan could feel the tension, but also the hope. He knew this was more than a mission. It was a chance to bring two very different worlds closer. One evening, as the purple sun set over Zarathia, Ethan gave the Queen another gift, a recording. This time, it was voices of Earth's children. They spoke in many languages, sending greetings and wishes for peace. Sarilith listened quietly. The children's voices were full of hope and kindness. She felt a warmth in her chest she had never known. The palace guards watched carefully, but no one could deny the change in the queen. She was no longer just a ruler, she was a bridge between worlds. Ethan smiled, knowing his gift had opened a new door. The queen was no longer without words. She was beginning to speak in the language of the heart. The palace of Zarathia was quieter than usual. Word had spread about the strange gift the human, Ethan Carter, had given to Queen Seralith. The other diplomats whispered behind closed doors. Some were angry, others were confused. No one understood why the queen had not responded in the way they expected. Ethan waited in his room, feeling a mix of hope and fear. He wondered if he had made a mistake. Had the queen misunderstood his gift? Would the fragile peace between Earth and Zarathia be broken? The next day, Ethan was called to the throne room again. The grand doors opened slowly. Inside, Seralith sat on her throne as always, but her expression was softer. Her violet eyes looked straight at Ethan. "Ethan," she said, her voice calm but firm, "your gift has made me think deeply. It is unlike anything I have ever seen. I was silent because I needed to understand it fully." The court was silent, listening closely to the queen's words. "You showed me not wealth or power, but memories and emotions. This is a language I had not known before. It has opened my mind." Ethan bowed his head, grateful for her words. "But," Seralith continued, "your gift also challenges our ways. Some here see it as strange. They fear change. They worry that you may influence me to act against our traditions." Ethan understood. Change was always hard, but he believed in the power of connection. "Your Majesty," he said gently, "I do not seek to change you or your people. I only wish to share a part of humanity, our hopes, our feelings, and our desire for peace." Seralith looked at the court, her voice rising with strength. "I will not hide behind silence. I will face those who fear the unknown." Her words surprised many. The queen, who was once cold and distant, now spoke with courage and clarity. After the meeting, some advisors spoke in whispers. They were unsure how to respond. Others admired Seralith's openness. Ethan felt a new respect for the queen. She was not just a ruler. She was a leader, willing to learn and grow. In the following days, Ethan continued to share more about Earth. He told stories of simple joys, children playing, families gathering, songs sung around fires. Seralith listened closely, often smiling. One afternoon, they sat together in the palace library. Ethan showed her old Earth photographs. One picture was of a small child holding a flower. The queen's eyes softened. "Why do you keep these memories?" she asked. "Because they remind us of who we are," Ethan replied. "They give us hope, even in dark times." Seralith nodded slowly. She began to understand that beneath the strength of her people lay the same need for hope and connection. But not everyone was ready to accept this new friendship. Some council members began to spread rumors. They said Ethan was using tricks to win the queen's favor. They warned Seralith to be careful. The queen did not ignore their words. She called a private meeting with her closest advisors. "I will not let fear rule me," she said firmly. "The human's gift is real. It touches my heart and mind." Her advisors looked at her in surprise. Some agreed, others remained doubtful. Meanwhile, Ethan prepared another special gift. He recorded voices of children from Earth, speaking greetings in many languages. The message was clear. Humans wished for friendship and peace. When he presented this gift to Seralith, she listened quietly. Tears formed in her eyes, an expression rarely seen on Zarathia. The queen's emotions were real. The gift had reached her deeply. The court began to change. People whispered about the new bond between the human and the queen. Some were hopeful. others wary. Ethan and Sarilith knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but they believed that understanding and kindness could overcome fear. One evening, as the twin moons rose over Zerathia, Ethan and the Queen stood on a balcony overlooking the city. "Your gift changed me," Sarilith said softly. "You gave me something I never had, a way to feel beyond duty." Ethan smiled. "And you gave me hope that two worlds can become friends." The stars sparkled above them. The future was uncertain, but a new beginning had begun. Days passed on Zerathia, but the quiet tension in the palace slowly began to change. The Queen's silence was no longer cold or distant. It was filled with thought and curiosity. Queen Sarilith had invited Ethan Carter to spend more time with her, and their meetings became a bridge between two very different worlds. Ethan felt honored and a little surprised by the Queen's openness. He had never imagined that sharing simple music and pictures could bring him so close to a ruler who had seemed so distant and serious. One morning, Sarilith and Ethan met in the palace's great library. Walls of ancient books surrounded them, and soft light filtered through tall windows. The Queen's violet eyes shone with interest as Ethan showed her more about Earth. He held out a small tablet, where he had saved more pictures and videos. "This is a festival on Earth," Ethan explained. "People dance, sing, and celebrate the changing of seasons. It is a time of joy and hope." Sarilith watched the images carefully. She saw people in bright clothes, laughing children, and fields full of colorful flowers. It was so different from the quiet and perfect world of Zerathia. "Your world is full of life," she said softly. "We value order and tradition. Emotions are kept private, but I see the strength in your people's joy." Ethan smiled. "Emotions are important to us. They connect us. Sometimes we show our feelings openly, and sometimes we keep them inside. But they are always there." They talked for hours, sharing stories of family, friendship, and hope. Ethan told the Queen about Earth's simple moments. A mother holding her child, friends helping each other, strangers sharing a smile. Sarilith listened and asked questions. She was learning to see humanity through new eyes. Humans were not just strange aliens. They were beings with hearts and dreams like her own people. Their connection grew stronger each day. The Queen began to share parts of her life with Ethan. She told him about the burdens of ruling Zerathia, the expectations, the endless decisions, and the loneliness at the top. Ethan listened with respect. "No leader is alone," he said gently. "People need someone to trust. Sometimes sharing your true feelings can make you stronger." Sarilith nodded. "I have learned much from your gift. It is more than pictures and music. It is a way to open the heart." One afternoon, they walked together in the palace gardens. The gardens were strange but beautiful. Glowing flowers swayed in the soft light, and the air was cool and sweet. Ethan showed her a picture of an earth garden. "People find peace here. It is a place to rest and feel close to nature." Sarilith smiled and touched a glowing flower. "I feel calm here, too." Their friendship became a quiet rebellion against the fears of the royal court. Not everyone was happy. Some advisors whispered that the Queen was forgetting her duties. They worried about the influence of the human, but Sarilith remained strong. She told her council, "Understanding others does not weaken us. It makes us stronger." Ethan prepared another surprise. He wanted to show the Queen how much Earth cared for peace and friendship. He collected messages from children around the world, their voices full of hope and kindness. When he played the recordings for Sarilith, she listened quietly. The children spoke in many languages, sending greetings and wishing for harmony between their worlds. Tears glistened in her eyes, a rare and powerful sight. The Queen's heart was opening, and with it, the walls between their peoples. But danger still lurked in the shadows. Some advisors plotted to stop this new friendship. They whispered about threats and betrayal. Ethan knew their journey was far from over, but he believed that courage and kindness could win. One evening, under the twin moons of Zarathia, Ethan and Sarilith stood on the balcony overlooking the city. The stars shone bright above them. "Your gift has changed me," Sarilith said softly. "I never thought I would find this connection with a human." Ethan smiled. "And you have shown me the strength of your people. Together we can build a new future." The city lights flickered below. A new chapter was beginning, one of hope, understanding, and friendship. The palace of Zarathia had changed, but not all changes were welcome. Queen Sarilith's new friendship with Ethan Carter brought hope to many, yet it also stirred fear and anger among some members of her royal council. These advisors had long protected Zarathia's traditions, and they saw the humans' influence as a threat. In the grand hall where the council met, voices rose in argument. Some warned that the queen was becoming too close to an outsider, a human, who might not understand their ways. Others said the queen should listen to her people and keep Zarathia's customs strong. The leader of the council, Lord Varek, spoke with cold authority. "Your Majesty, this human's gifts are strange. They may hide danger beneath their kindness. We must be careful. Zarathia's future depends on strength, not emotion." Sarilith faced her council with calm but firm eyes. "Strength is not only in power or tradition. It is also in understanding and trust. Ethan has shown me a new way to see the world." The room grew silent. Some members looked doubtful, others curious. Outside the council chambers, whispers spread quickly. Some called Ethan a spy, others a trickster. The queen's closest advisors warned her to be cautious, but Sarilith believed in what she had learned. She knew that the gift Ethan gave her, memories, music, and kindness, was real and pure. She wanted to share this gift with all her people. Ethan sensed the tension. He met with Sarilith privately in the palace gardens, beneath glowing flowers that swayed gently in the soft light. "Your Majesty," Ethan said quietly, "I know some fear what we are building, but true peace is not built on fear. It is built on trust and courage." Sarilith nodded. "I will stand for what I believe, but we must be patient. Change takes time." Together, they planned a way to show the court the power of their friendship. Ethan had one more gift, a recording of Earth's children sending greetings and hopes for peace. The day of the council meeting arrived. The hall was filled with tension as Sarilith stood before her advisors. She played the recording. The children's voices filled the room, speaking many languages, full of hope, kindness, and a wish to be friends. Some council members listened quietly. Others shifted uncomfortably. When the recording ended, Sarilith spoke from her heart. "These voices remind me that all life seeks peace and connection. We must not close ourselves to new possibilities." A few members of the council softened. They saw the truth in her words. But Lord Varek was not convinced. "This is dangerous," he warned. "We cannot abandon our ways for the sake of one. Humans' gifts." Sarilith met his gaze. "I am not abandoning our ways. I am adding to them. A new path is possible, one where Zarathia and Earth can grow together." The debate continued late into the evening, but the Queen's courage had planted a seed of hope. Outside the palace, news of the meeting spread through the city. People whispered of a new era, one where two worlds might become friends. Ethan and Sarilith stood together on the palace balcony, watching the stars twinkle in the purple sky. "We face challenges," Ethan said softly. "But together, we are stronger." Sarilith smiled. "Your gift was more than a simple object. It was the beginning of something greater." As the twin moons rose over Zarathia, hope shone brighter than ever. The palace of Zarathia was filled with a quiet excitement. The past weeks had been full of tension and change, but now a new hope shone in the eyes of many. Queen Sarilith stood tall and proud, ready to make a decision that would change the fate of her world and Earth. The grand hall was decorated with bright lights and banners. People from Zerathia and Earth had gathered for a special ceremony. It was a moment the galaxy had never seen before, a chance for two very different worlds to come together in peace. Ethan Carter stood beside the Queen. His heart beat fast, but he felt calm. He looked at the crowd, seeing curious faces filled with hope and some still full of doubt. Sarilith raised her hand for silence. Her violet eyes shone with determination. "Citizens of Zerathia," she began, "and honored guests from Earth, today we begin a new chapter in our history. For too long our worlds have been separate, filled with fear and misunderstanding." She paused, looking at Ethan with a soft smile. "But thanks to a simple gift from a human, I have seen a new way. A way of friendship, of trust, and of peace." The crowd listened closely. "Therefore, I declare Zerathia open to the Earth. We will share culture, knowledge, and hope. We will build bridges, not walls." A murmur of surprise and excitement spread through the hall. Sarilith continued, "I name Ethan Carter as the first ambassador of emotions and culture between our worlds. He will help us learn from each other to grow together in peace." Ethan stepped forward, bowing deeply to the Queen and the people. "I am honored beyond words," he said. "My people and I promise to work for friendship and understanding." After the ceremony, many came forward to congratulate them. Some offered gifts, others spoke of new hopes. The air was full of energy and possibility. But Sarilith knew the road ahead would still be hard. Some fears and old ways would take time to change. Yet she was confident. She had seen the power of a simple gift, a gift of music, memories, and heart. That night, Sarilith stood alone on the palace balcony. She looked up at the stars shining over Zerathia. The small device Ethan had given her lay in her hand, its screen glowing softly. She pressed play, and the gentle piano music filled the quiet night air. The images of Earth's blue seas and green forests flickered on the screen. A smile touched her lips. For the first time, she felt at peace. Far away on Earth, children sang songs of friendship and hope. Their voices carried across the stars, reaching Zerathia's skies. The Queen whispered, "Thank you, Ethan, for your gift, for opening my heart." And though she said no more, her eyes spoke the words she could not find. A new beginning had come, not with great power or weapons, but with a simple gift from a human who dared to share his world. The galaxy watched and waited, but Zerathia and Earth had already started a journey together, a journey of peace, friendship, and understanding.